Round 3 is coming up, and we have two undefeated players squaring off. We have Ryley and his Luke Metal deck up against an Urshifu Cinccino deck piloted by just some guy. Now onto the lists. Up first, we have the Urshifu Cinccino list. This is the third match in a row where Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX features heavily, but this one plays a bit differently from the last two. Instead of hitting very hard out of the gate thanks to welder plays and strong fire Pokemon, this deck takes a slower approach, using Cinccino's make-do ability to slowly amass resources over the course of a match. You have enough search cards to reliably get your Cinccinos into play early, and from there you can use your cards like Air Balloon and Bird Keeper to continue building your hand and enable Urshifu's Gale Thrust attack to keep hitting for 150 damage. This way of playing can take a bit longer than a more conventional deck, especially as you run no Professor's Research and only one Dedenne GX. But once you have enough Cinccino on board, you're effectively reset stamp and Marnie proof, and you have more time to draw into your many tech cards for different matchups. In fact, this list has so many cards in it that I had to move the player's name to the bottom of the graphic, but I'm sure you won't mind, because it's me. Now onto my opponent, we have Ryley and his Luke Metal list. Like Urshifu Cinccino, Luke Metal is fine to start games slow, gradually getting a whole board of bulky attackers set up with Intrepid Sword and Metal Saucer. These attackers can shrug off damage after Luke Metal has used its full Metal Wall GX attack, and when these attackers do become damaged, Ryley can buy himself some time by healing them with Mallow. This deck also runs no Professor's Research, preferring to dig with slower cards like the Guzmahala or Caitlyn Cynthia, both of which can be found with Tag Call. Ryley's deck plays one copy of Aegislash-V, whose Sonic Edge attack lets it ignore effects on the defending Pokemon, giving the deck a way of hitting through Altaria and Decidueye. This matchup looks quite favourable for Ryley. Zamazenta V can't be damaged by VMAX Pokemon, so I'll need to attack into that Pokemon either with Urshifu V or after using my one copy of Phoebe. The healing is also tough for an Urshifu player to deal with. Gale Thrust and G-Max Rapid Flow are severely weakened after Metal Goggles and Full Metal Wall are used, meaning Ryley can find a Mallow after I've hit into a Pokemon one or two times and remove all that damage. However, with Mewtwo able to recover Cheryl and Phoebe several times in a match, I at least have a way of prolonging the game and hitting through Zamazenta V. Let's see how it goes. And we have the players setting up for round 3. Both these players carry a 101 record into round 3, and a win in this round would certainly see either player in a very good spot going into round 4. This tournament features 5 Swiss rounds, followed by a top 4 cut, and the top 4 cut has some pretty interesting rules when we get to that. So I'm playing on the right. I'm in the pink t-shirt, and I have the very messy hair going on, I guess. And we have Ryley on the right. Ryley is on that beautiful Hidden Fates playmat. He's in the, I want to say, a camo t-shirt. So the players are setting up for the game. And I know how this game goes because I'm one of the people sitting in that chair, so still be interesting. This gives me a kind of a special opportunity to go through what I personally was thinking. Obviously I can't read the minds of everyone else, but I certainly know what I was thinking. Now I've started Dedenne faced against Luke Metal here. That is my only copy of Dedenne in this game, so I won't be able to use a Dedenne change to get a quick burst of cards here. My hand doesn't seem to contain any basic Pokemon as I'm just using the Capture Energy on the Dedenne. This gives me an out to retreat the Dedenne later in the game, but I'm never attacking with that Dedenne, so it's sort of a missed attachment there. So I'm putting that Rapid Strike Urshifu V on the bench. That's my main attacker, and against a deck like Ryley's, I want to get that set up as quickly as possible. I'm sort of going to have to keep a VMAX Urshifu on the bench as well as just a V for attacking, so I can swing into that Zamazenta. That 150 damage off a Furious 100 Blows would be pretty valuable into a 230 HP Pokemon like Zamazenta V that I cannot hit with my Urshifu VMAX. We're going into Ryley's turn now, and immediately he's played his own capture energy onto Luke Metal, putting that Zamazenta V on the bench, wasting no time getting that Pokemon set up. Ryley plays 16 energy in this deck, so there's many opportunities to use Intrepid Sword, getting that energy into play with his Zacian V. He also has quite a few outs for the Metal Saucer. Ryley's deck runs 2 Quick Ball, which is less than the 4 we're used to seeing in most decks. However, Ryley can access his Pokemon through Tag Call, his Luke Metal at least. And through Tag Call he can also get Guzmahala. Guzmahala gives him access to Capture Energy, his 2 copies in the deck. But in this matchup, Ryley really doesn't want a lot of Pokemon. He's pretty happy to just sit there and swing with the Zamazenta V. Ideally, he wants to put no more than 6 prizes worth of non-Zamazenta V Pokemon on the bench. That forces me to play through the Zamazenta and try and get the Phoebe plays going. So we're back onto my turn, and I've benched the Giratina with the Dimension Breach ability. This will remove a special energy off Ryley's active Luke Metal. So that capture energy is gone, so it might be at least another return before that Luke Metal begins attacking, either with Full Metal Wall or Steel Fist. Now I've played another copy of Capture Energy onto my Urshifu. I have 2 Cinccino on board, so starting next turn I should be able to get the ball rolling with some make do's. Not a whole lot going on for me there though, as I pass back into Ryley. Ryley gets that Coding Energy down onto the Luke Metal. Ryley runs 4 copies of that Coding Energy. Coding Energy prevents the Metal Pokemon from taking damage from weakness. So this is very valuable in matchups against decks like Victini and Green's Reshizard. However, it's another target for my Giratina here. If I find the Scoop Up Net for that Giratina, I can play it down and remove that energy. In this matchup, however, I really want to conserve my Scoop Up Nets. That's what I was thinking anyway. I want to be able to use Mewtwo's ability, Mind Report, as many times as possible to recover my cards like Cheryl and Phoebe, which are very valuable in this matchup. So back onto my turn. Ryley not getting too much done there. Taking a read of that Zamazenta V. I think what I was looking for there was if I could hit with a G-Max Rapid Flow into it. However, the Zamazenta is protected at all times from VMAX Pokemon, even if it's on the bench. And Phoebe only allows my VMAX attacks to ignore the effects of active Pokemon. So even after a Phoebe, my G-Max Rapid Flow won't be hitting a benched Zamazenta. So I've level balled into a Cinccino here. I can start to use Make Do and find some cards. In terms of attacking though, my board doesn't look spectacular. The best thing I can really do this turn is hit into the Luke Metalization for 120 damage with the 100 Furious Blows. However, I'd be walking right into a Full Metal Wall from this Luke Metal if I were to go that way. Not 100% sure how I proceed with that. Here we go. So I'm not planning on attacking. I'm going to retreat the Dedenne into the Snorlax and use the Gourmandize ability just to get my hand set up for next turn. Gourmandize lets you draw until you have 7 cards, but in doing so you end your turn. And seeing as my hand appears to only be a rapid strike energy. This would be a good way of getting set up and possibly even drawing into another Cinccino for next turn. So by doing that, I'll be able to see many more cards in my deck. Ryley gets another Zamazenta on board. So if he never benches another Pokemon, I'll have to go through 2 Zamazenta V to win the game, which is very, very difficult. Even getting through 1 consumes a lot of resources and time. Ryley is going to Steel Fist into the Snorlax. Doing 50 damage to that Snorlax. I'll likely need to play a Bird Keeper to move that Snorlax out of the active and begin attacking. However, I don't get any value out of a G-Max Rapid Flow. So I think a Gale Thrust or Gale Thrust if I evolve into the VMAX, or a 100 Furious Blows if I simply attack with just the bear itself. It looks like I'm gearing up for an attack here. I have that Bird Keeper in hand, so I'm going to switch into that Urshifu here. It's not ideal sending that Urshifu up because I'm going to lose all that energy next turn, but I can't really sit around and wait forever. I need to take the initiative and get that damage on board, force Ryley to respond. So that Luke Metal has 120 damage on it. It does have the metal goggles, but hasn't used the full metal wall, so 120 damage would be enough for Mellow to heal, but we see Ryley going for the Marnie this turn. So a Phoebe will let a Gale Thrust ignore all the effects on Luke Metal. So it will simply be doing the 150 damage, and that would be enough for a knockout. So there's definitely a way I can get that play happening. Would be pretty resource intensive though, and Phoebe would have to be my supporter for turn, so I think I might just be waiting on that. That might not be the way I go just yet. Ryley does use that full metal wall GX attack, erasing the energy off my Urshifu V, so I already have 3 energy in the discard pile. I have a difficult time recovering energy. I do play the 1 Ordinary Rod, which lets me recover basic fighting energy, as well as Pokemon. So I'm simply going for the Marnie this turn. So I'll play the Marnie, and after that I believe I'll make do a number of times. And through that make do, I think I'm hoping to find my way into an air balloon or a fighting energy. The fighting energy would let me use Strafe, and that 30 damage would be reduced to 0 by all the buffs on the Luke Metal. However, it would let me get the Urshifu out of the active. Doesn't seem like a hit either of those as I just pass back onto Ryley. Ryley's playing a tag call, so we might see the Mallow here. No, we see a Guzmahala and another Luke Metal. Ryley will be looking to discard that. So it looks like he's quick balling the Luke Metal, perhaps? You see a pile of cards next to his active Pokemon. No, he's using the Guzmahala. So the quick ball and the Luke Metal are discarded by the Guzmahala. Ryley's looking for the Capture Energy, the Cape of Toughness, and Chaotic Swell. So Ryley already has that Power Plant. However, Power Plant won't be doing anything as my Dedenne GX is already in play, my one-of that card. And Chaotic Swell won't do anything either as I don't run stadiums, and Ryley will just be playing that to get it out of his hand. So the stadiums aren't really of consequence here in this game 1. Ryley attaching yet another energy to that Luke Metal. The Zamazantas haven't gotten very much energy just yet. However, it would only take a couple of metal sources to get those powered up and going. So Ryley, with those 4 energy on that Luke Metal, is able to use the heavy impact attack, I believe it's called. That'll do 150 damage. And so if I don't evolve this Urshifu this turn, it will be very easy to be knocked out next turn. If I do evolve it, it will be out of range of a heavy impact. However, something like a Brave Blade from Azation would be able to finish the job. So I might have to, if I find my way into a Cheryl, that might be a play I would consider. Cheryl heals all damage from your evolution Pokemon at the cost of removing all their energy. However, I have no energy on board, so I can basically Cheryl for free. However, I do go for a Bird Keeper here, just building that hand up. The hand looks quite bulky at this point. I have access to a lot of things I need. I've left the Giratina active. I might be looking to scoop up net it, however, I just as likely might let it sit there and take a hit from... Oh, so we see the scoop up net. Again, I think I'm valuing getting damage on board. If he Mallow Lanas it, so be it, but I need to get that damage on board and at least force him to use those resources. Because right now I'm really not getting very far, just announcing pass at the end of my turns. That Giratina is still kind of useful, however, if I knock this Luke Metal out, that's a lot of special energy going into the discard pile, so its value really diminishes once Ryley plays most of his 6 special energy. Most of the energy in Ryley's deck are basic metal energy. He runs 10 of them, so trying to go in on the Giratina as an option to deprive Ryley of energy isn't very viable long term. So we see Ryley get that Metal Saucer going on the Zamazenta V on the bench. Zamazenta will be just about ready to be attacking. It has 2 energy on it, as well as the Cape of Toughness tool card, giving it an extra 50 HP. You see Ryley using that Stadium, that Chaotic Swell, just as discard fodder for the Caitlyn Cynthia. This will let him recover a boss's orders. Might be looking to target down something. It also means I can't really just hide the Urshifu on the bench any longer. I have to really get in there and start attacking. So you see that Assault Tackle from the Zamazenta V. Does 130 damage and also discards a special energy, so that Rapid Strike energy is gone. However, there are no energy on my heavily damaged Urshifu V here, so a Cheryl would heal 280 damage and it would take me even out of 2-shot range of Ryley's Pokemon here, so that would be a good way to buy some turns. However, it looks like I'm going for the Bird Keeper here. I think I might be after a reset stamp, given that I know Ryley has boss in hand. You see me make do away a Pokemon Communication. It's a very big hand now. You get to a point in the match where your deck is many times larger than your hand, and without giving too much away, we're going to see a very small deck from me in this game eventually, at the rate I'm chugging through these make-dos. Not much going on for me this turn, however. I simply have to leave Cinccino in the active and pass. Ryley doesn't play the boss, however. He simply attacks into the Cinccino here, getting rid of an air balloon, and a big part of my draw engine is a pretty good play. Remove my ability to draw through my deck too fast and have access to everything I need. So we see me Cheryl here. That damage on that Urshifu VMAX is gone. So now it's healthy again, and we should see it starting to swing into Ryley's Pokemon here. However, with that Zamazenta V active, I won't be doing any damage with a VMAX Pokemon. I'll likely need to bench another Urshifu V in order to get anything going here. We see another pass. I've left the Snorlax active, but my hand simply is too large to use Gourmandize. We're only allowed to draw up to 7 with Gourmandize, so I must have a very large hand after all those make-dos. So we see Boss bringing up the Urshifu here. Assault Tackle does 130. No energy on the Urshifu, however, I am able to attack thanks to the Karate Belt tool card on that Urshifu. So you make do, getting rid of a quick ball. I think I have Mewtwo in hand. Mewtwo would be very useful for recovering resources. And look at that, my deck is smaller than my hand already. See a Rapid Strike energy come down. So thanks to the Karate Belt reducing the cost of G-Max Rapid Flow by 1 fighting energy, I'm able to use that attack for a single energy. And that heavily damaged Luke Metal goes down. All the buffs on it reduce that G-Max Rapid Flow damage down to a measly 60, but given how damaged it was, that attack's still able to finish it off. And next turn, I won't lose an energy to Assault Tackle from Zamazenta V, as I already discarded it to get that bench damage going. So I've technically taken the lead, going down to 3 prizes in this game. However, the 2 Pokemon in play are very daunting. I'll need to start drawing into my Phoebes, trying to hit them with a Gale Thrust. So I've used Make Do. I'm down to a 1 card deck, it looks like. It looks to just be 1 card next to my discard pile there. So I'm going to have to get pretty tricky with this to avoid decking out. I do have that Ordinary Rod in hand. So many cards. So the Urshifu V comes down. In order to have any chance, really, I'm going to have to start using that 100 Furious Blows attack. And then kind of alternate with a G-Max Rapid, a Gale Thrust boosted by Phoebe every now and then. Just in order to keep that offensive pressure on Ryley here. So, Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX goes down to an Assault Tackle there. Promote the Urshifu V of a 0 card deck. So I'll either need to play an Ordinary Rod, a Marnie, or a Mewtwo to put a supporter on top of the deck in order to not immediately lose next turn. So I attach the Rapid Strike energy. With that Ordinary Rod, putting in the Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX. probably put in a V as well.
Oh, so the last card wasn't Phoebe.
That was.
Oh, was?
I don't put any fighting energy back in. I may not have discarded any. I haven't kept track of that. Well, for Ryley the cut, there are 2 cards in that deck. I know exactly what they are. I make do into the 2 cards, the Urshifu V and V Max. Looks like I put down the Urshifu V here. And now I play the Mewtwo, so I can
Support a card on top of the deck.
move a card to the top of the deck. And you see that Cheryl hit the top of the deck, so we're drawing into that next turn. And I end my turn with 100 Furious Blows hitting into that Zamazenta V. After the buffs, however, with the Metal Goggles and the Full Metal Wall, I'll only be hitting it for 90 damage.
Is that Luke Metal? Oh shit, no. Please don't run Zam. Oh, he ran double Zam. Tackle?
Yep.
Ryley's turn now. He plays a tag call. He can hunt down a Malolana if he wants. Looks like he'll be taking nothing. I don't think we saw too much there in the deck in terms of tag team cards. He has that Malolana in hand though, so he can simply just heal that Zamazenta V and begin attacking with the other one. See the Assault Tackle, discard the Rapid Strike energy. Must be running very low on those by now. So I top deck Cheryl, only card in deck. I have Scoop Up Net however, so I can bring that Mewtwo back into hand and place a supporter on top. Evolve into the Urshifu VMAX here.
I have a plan. I think I have a plan.
Ryley's down to 2 prizes, so he could also fall victim to a reset stamp here. Reset stamp might deprive him of cards like Malolana or anything that might enable him to heal or prolong his Pokemon here. You see the Phoebe coming down from me, so I retreat into the Mewtwo, place the Phoebe in the deck, put it into the discard pile. So Scoop Up Net will put that Mewtwo back into my hand. Now, Urshifu VMAX moves into the active. Thanks to that Phoebe, I will be getting the knockout on the Zamazenta this turn. And with that Mewtwo moved back to my hand, I can put another card on top of my deck, choose the Phoebe, so that will enable me to attack once again next turn. So we're just doing a little damage calculation there, but I hit for 150, which is more than enough to take out that Zamazenta V, and I'm down to my last prize card. Action back on Ryley now. He still has a very large hand, but he has no damage on his one and only Zamazenta V in play. So just looking at my hand, it is quite large. And we know what my deck is, so I have access to pretty much every card that isn't in my discard pile or my final prize. So we see the Assault Tackle. And I'm going to Cheryl this turn. I can't afford to let the Urshifu VMAX get knocked out here.
It's more thinking that
I've never seen someone stay on 0 cards in a deck for so long.
I'm trying to.
This, however, prevents me from playing Phoebe once again, so I think I might have to let this Zamazenta V just stick around for a turn. I think I'm eyeing up that reset stamp here. That would give Ryley a 2-card hand. With the right 2 cards, that Zamazenta V could get stuck in the active and could just be a sitting duck left to be knocked out by a couple of Gale Thrusts. So I have 2 Scoop Up Net in hand, so I can continue this Mewtwo line of play just a little longer. considering what to do here. This isn't the easiest situation. I think I might be just sacrificing that Cinccino.
Scoop up net.
Play the scoop up net,
One report.
turning my 0 card deck into a 1 card deck, that 1 card being Cheryl. I have that Phoebe in hand, so I will be able to Gale Thrust next turn.
I already shelled, so I'll pass.
Yep.
So now I pass. Ryley's hand doesn't look great. He does have that Marnie, however, so
Quick balls action.
if he chooses, he could disrupt me, and he could knock out the Cinccino here, leaving me only with 4 cards in hand.
Fail quick ball.
Yep.
Ryley using that quick ball, not to put anything on the bench, but simply to flush the not so useful resources out of his deck. So you see that assault tackle, Ryley goes down to 1 prize. Now with that reset stamp still in my hand, yep, immediate reset stamp here,
I was never not
very
playing
powerful,
this
stamp to
game,
1.
you know.
And with a scoop up net in my hand, that Urshifu VMAX will be hitting for 150 damage after a Phoebe. Ryley's 1 card off the stamp is a Metal Energy, so this 1-2 punch play could be very effective here.
Scoop up net.
See that scoop up net once again taking that Mewtwo up. I think we'll see the Mewtwo put that Phoebe back on top.
Phoebe back on
I have that Cheryl in hand from last turn, so
Gale Thrust 150.
so you see a Gale Thrust for 150 damage. If Ryley is not able to... Oh, we see him top deck the Aegis/V. Aegis/V won't be attacking here, nor will it be impervious to the VMAX Urshifu's attacks here. However, it gives Ryley an out to retreat into something and sort of stay alive for another turn. Do have that Phoebe in hand, but without a way to hit into the benched Zamazenta V, it's not very effective. And now I have a 0 card deck, and from what I remember, no more scoop up nets. So I do have boss in hand, but I am not able to boss and get an effective attack off in the same turn. So without scoop up nets, I'm also not able to
My back's against the wall.
use the Gale Thrust for the boosted damage. Would only be able to do one for 0 into this Aegis Slash, which has no tools on it, but is boosted by the Full Metal Wall. So I simply have to Marnie here. It's really not ideal.
Some weird
However,
ruling
I need
Marnie.
cards for next turn and beyond,
Don't draw cards with it. It doesn't work or something.
and giving Ryley extra
If
cards
neither player
is
puts cards on the bottom.
never ideal. However,
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's silly.
Oh.
his top deck of an Aegis Slash was
No, your opponent has no
very,
card in hand, and
very
you have
kind
one
to him.
card in hand. If you play Marnie, you can't activate it.
Something like that, yeah.
That's weird.
I mean, all I can do is play my outs. Stamp to 1 is sometimes it's great, and sometimes your opponent gets what they need.
I've been holding 2
Simply going to
I didn't want you to do that.
go into the Snorlax here. The level ball is a misplay. I should not have played that level ball. Because I do plan to Gormandize this turn. And by playing that level ball, I effectively give myself 1 less turn to play. And I probably need 2 turns to punch through this Aegis/V or the Zamazenta.
Yep.
Ryley is fairly content to just leave it there. And with that Cape of Toughness coming down, my goal of 2-shotting it becomes all that much harder. So we see a boss from Ryley. Considering what to take here. This match has gone on for a while. We're past the half-hour mark. This been a very back and forth battle here. And you see my top deck, and there's my concession. I'm not able to put cards back in my deck at this point, and Ryley has 2 Pokemon, neither of which I can knock out before I deck out. So a very long and a very intense game 1 here. Ryley winning effectively via deck out. And this is trouble for me, as with 33 minutes gone in the first round, I only have about 16, 17 minutes to win a game 2 and 3. Even winning a game 2 is going to be tough, as Ryley's deck is very defensive, and my attacks are not very strong, so this rules out me getting something like a Donk on a lone, Zacian or a Luke Metal. I would need at least a couple of turns of Ryley completely bricking in order to donk him and force a tie in this round 3 match. So Ryley, you could say Ryley has the advantage here. He has the luxury of time. He can play in a very defensive manner, making good use of those mellow liners to prevent me from winning. So my starter in this game is the Giratina. Ryley mulligans here, giving me an extra card. I'll take all the cards I can get in a matchup like this.
You can't draw bad cards if you can't draw cards.
No starter again, so I'll get to see an additional 2 cards as I'm going first in this matchup. Could be some useful cards here. However, I will need to see that Phoebe quite early if I'm to have any way of really taking advantage of this game 2. So there are my mulligans. Fighting energy in a level ball. 2 very nice cards to see on turn 1 here. And with my top deck, my hand's up to 9 cards already, so these Cinccino decks can amass a lot of cards by the early to middle game, but before I've even started, I have a classic Urshifu hand here with the 9 cards. However, 2 of those are level balls, so I'll be getting the Mincinos set up on the board there, getting ready to evolve them for next turn.
I was just like trying to share all of them repeatedly. It just wasn't enough.
I don't think I've ever seen an Urshi skull deck before.
Taking my time shuffling here. I don't really have the time to be shuffling so thoroughly, but it's good that I'm
Draw 5 times.
trying to make sure that the deck is sufficiently randomized.
So I got back in. Being silly. We're on my tie now, so I've got to.
And I'm about to quick ball, so that shuffle was a complete waste of time.
You're up a game.
I'm up a game and I'm
I don't think I think I got the tunnel vision there. I wasn't quite thinking far enough ahead, but already we're down to about 13 minutes left in this matchup, so things like not sort of streamlining your process by just using all your search cards at once and shuffling at the end. Those are very good things to work on, because in matchups like these, you need every second. Every second counts, and can't afford to just be daydreaming while you shuffle your deck. So I guess that's an advantage of casting your own games. You get to watch all your misplays and really take those into account in the future. So I've learned a lesson there from Pink Shirt past me. Action back on Ryley now. Tag calling for the Cynthia Caitlin and the Guzmahala. Guzmahala will be able to draw him into some cards here. Most likely a Capture Energy, a Metal Goggles, and a Stadium. Ryley takes the Power Plant here. Ryley only plays 2 Stadiums, and I play none, so if he plays the Chaotic Swell first, he doesn't get to use Power Plant at all. So Power Plant is good. It stops me from using my 1 and early Dedenne. Ryley taking a Cape of Toughness and a capture energy. That capture energy will come down on the Luke Medal and let him search through his deck. Immediately eyes up that Zamazenta V. Zamazenta V was, I guess you could say, the MVP of the last round. Both of them just sat there and absorbed hits for 35 minutes. So Ryley's looking to get a repeat of that in game 2, although you won't need to extend the game for that much longer.
I don't ignore the game, ignore the goggles.
He's 12 minutes away from taking the round 3 1-0.
So you just get the boost, but not
We see a full metal wall. Ryley's one colorless energy is able to use full metal wall, although there's no energy discard, he still gets that 30 damage reduce. So I'm getting quite a turn going on here. Don't do it. Oh. No. Yeah, I wasn't looking forward to this. You see my head go into my hands here. I'm very embarrassed about what's just gone on
Do you
here.
have a gun I could borrow maybe?
I've played today under Power Plant. Played on stream for the whole world to see.
A Dede changed under power play.
Not much to say about that. I thought I was getting ready to draw 6 cards and just pop off, but
I'm salty now.
now I've got a full board, no cards in hand. All I can do is just boss for that.
Any stadium, so it doesn't
Zamazenta V, and
Do you play your bench like
that's
that?
embarrassing.
Do you play Mark Shadow?
Talking before about how it's taking a little too much time, but that kind of pales
explain myself to the world.
in comparison to benching to Dene under Power Plant. That's a rookie error. I'm not proud of that, but
Part of the cards.
I've learnt from that, and since that day I've been very careful to check for Power Plant before I've Dedenade, so I guess it was of some value. There's a lesson in there, but there you have it. The whole world knows now.
Like when it's been like last game where I just started Dede and I never have to worry about it.
Yeah.
So Ryley gets to plod along and continue here.
Draw support though.
I have one make do to sort of draw into nearly everything I need. My one active Pokemon can't attack.
True.
I need to scoop up net to get it out of play. My opponent's active is a Pokédoll, which offers no value for me for attacking into it. So simply attach, capture energy, and pass.
That's pretty saucy.
So all the positive momentum I had in that turn 2, completely out the window after that.
Flush the doll.
Well, dreadful misplay. And Ryley is free to really consolidate his position here, really capitalize on that misplay of mine. And I think we'll see a Steel Fist come down from that Luke Medal. 50 damage on the Giratina, and an energy from the deck goes onto the Luke Medal.
Make do.
Now that Luke Medal alone can probably stand up to most of what I can dish out right now.
Just using it to draw 2 cards instead of searching for basic.
The goggles and the full metal wall effectively giving it 320 HP. But when you think about it, probably a little more than that, given that I would need at least 2 attacks to knock it out.
That's Gale Thrust.
Looks like I'm going for the Gale Thrust for 90.
That's a big 90.
So one of the best plays Ryley can do this turn is simply Mellow Lana. You're not getting full value by removing 90 damage, but it puts me that much further away from stealing game 2 and forcing a tie in this set. See the boss come down, boss hits the Urshifu V on the bench. That's my primary attacker against that Zamazenta V, so by putting damage on it, Ryley's trying to force me into either evolving it or letting it be knocked out without ever seeing any good value out of it.
Make do.
We see some make-dos come down.
How'd you go second game?
We see one make-do. Only have that one Cinccino on bench.
Third, second game.
Hoping to draw into a bit more, however,
100 furious blows for
and looks like we're seeing 100 furious blows for
Slow pain.
90 damage.
Yes.
The Luke Metal's starting to get a bit damaged, however, Ryley wouldn't need a whole lot to remove that damage.
not too disappointing.
However, we just see a Marnie from him, so
On nothing for so long.
we know Malulana shenanigans from him this turn, meaning that if I find the energy if I find the energy or a way to move out of the active one of my non-Urshifu Pokemon,
300 damage.
I can at least get a knockout with the Gale Thrust.
I thought that was a VMAX.
So Cinccino's in the active. If I find an air balloon, it looks like I have Bird Keeper in hand. So that Bird Keeper will at least allow me to see 3 prizes.
Never grow up.
Birdkeeper.
However, time is winding down in round 3, and
They're rats.
I'd still need to find my way to knock out this Zamazenta V on the bench. And with the Doles, Ryley is perfectly capable of buying himself a few turns here,
Well, he's back. And he's better than
upset.
ever. He's
and
upset.
possibly even getting another Zamazenta set up.
Big mad.
As we saw with the first game, it's not too difficult to take down one Zamazenta, but
I don't make the rules.
taking out the second one is another matter altogether.
Do it.
Do it.
You see Fighting Energy come down on the fresh Urshifu V.
90. It's a knockout.
Gale Thrust taking 3 prizes here.
Sure, 180. Only need 80 more.
Minus 60.
Just slid the prize cards toward me. I don't want to look at them until we've both acknowledged that the knockout has in fact taken place. But we agree it's 90 damage, and that's enough to knock out the 260 hit point Luke Metal. Ryley finds the tag call, perhaps a turn late here, but he does grab that Malulana. Looks like he is sort of looking to be proactive here, preventing me from ever really keeping damage on his board here. If I do manage to find the 100 Furious Blows or the Phoebe play here, I will do damage to the Zamazenta V, but if I don't disrupt his hand, that Malulana is waiting and will immediately shrug that damage off. Ryley takes down my only copy of Cinccino in play. Now, my hand's quite large, and it looks like I've top decked another Cinccino here, so I'll at least be able to continue drawing into cards here.
I just didn't want you to have cross support.
Looks like
You do so well when you
I
have
think that's a Phoebe in my hand, the rightmost card in my hand, I believe. So if that turns out to be true, and I have a switching card in my hand, I might be able to do 150 damage.
Yep.
However, I'm probably aware that Ryley has Malulana in hand.
Get into play, but
I've capture energy for the Mewtwo here. Not a very orthodox way of getting it into play, as when you capture energy you don't get to use that Mind Report ability. However, with 4 Scoop Up Net in deck, I still will get some very good use out of it, trying to repeatedly get into those Phoebes.
No net for you.
So we see that Scoop Up Net, move it into my hand. Another Scoop Up Net, moving the Cinccino into hand.
Gobi,
There's the Phoebe.
Gale Thrust.
And that Gale Thrust will be doing 150 damage. So I couldn't find a reset stamp to disrupt Ryley's hand here. So that Malulana immediately hits the board, discarding the useless Zacian and the useless Luke Metal. We'll be reducing the hit points, reducing the damage on that Zamazenta to 30. Moves a Doll into the active, flushes it to the bottom, and he's able to continue on attacking here.
Attach coding energy.
Yep.
Assault tackle
So he does place some value in the Zacian here. We're at 47 minutes in this match. This is the first Zacian we've seen hit the board. I think he's looking for a cleanup hit on that Urshifu in my active with the 130 damage on it. Brave Blade would do 230, which would be more than enough to knock out that Urshifu should I not manage to heal it or get it out of the active.
How did your last match go, Riley?
Long.
See, yet another Cinccino hit the board.
First
No,
thing.
no, not this. The other.
I won.
So with that Mewtwo in hand, I'm able to put a discarded supporter on top of my deck and draw into it with a Make Do.
So make it mine.
I can't decide.
Make do.
No, it
Might be looking
so
at
first
a
game's in my favour,
G-Max
second
Rapid
game
Flow
just
here
beat me.
if I manage to dig my way into a Phoebe. Sorry, a Rapid Strike Energy.
Mine report.
Doesn't look to be the case though.
Bird keeper.
Yep.
So you see that Make Do. Sorry, the Bird Keeper. That will be drawing into the Phoebe that I've placed on top of the deck. And there's a good time for a reset stamp. Ryley seems to be down to about 2 or 3 prize cards. So reset stamp could disrupt that hand of his, which has gotten fairly big over the turns.
Yep. Go for now.
Yep.
And we just see a pass from me there. I have 3 prize cards to take here. And Ryley wastes no time getting that Zacian V set up, so I'll have a tough time taking out 2 Pokemon here. I think what I might have to do is a Phoebe G-Max Rapid Flow play, followed by another Phoebe G-Max Rapid Flow play. That would take 4 prize cards and allow me to hit into that Zamazenta twice in a row. However, if it looks like time's been called around, the Ryley's pointed back and forth, determining the turn order in
One half man.
the +3 turns here.
Yep. There's one.
This is the first stream match that's gone into overtime. It looks like I'll have 2 turns left to try and take 3 prizes here. Otherwise, Ryley will be the winner.
Frame blade knockout.
Yeah. And then
He's moved that out of the active.
I saw the damage. I'm like, wait a minute.
So I think I'm telling him here that my outs were a runner G-Max Rapid Flow play.
PTCG Max Rapid.
And with him moving that out of the active, that's no longer an option for me. So there's the fist bump.
You are
Ryley takes round 3.